First of all, we have over 50 million youth unemployed. Our youth are not lazy, they are very energetic. They need to be mentored, they need to be given the jobs, and they need to be given the environment to serve. Our plan is to create, at minimum, 7 million jobs per year to erase the deficit. And here's how we'll do it. We will not be relying solely on oil. We will, expand manufacturing, service, healthcare, infrastructure, and then we will get into a whole lot of things that would lead us to creating those jobs. Within the first 18 months, there will be bivocational training for all Nigerians that are currently unemployed so that they are ready in 18 months to help us build our roads and our bridges and water. We do have the contact in public and private sector organizations worldwide that we have served that will be glad to come to Nigeria to help us. But we need to get our Nigerians, to be partners in the progress. And then when we do that, when you expand our economy more than oil becomes like number 8 on our source of revenue. Let me give you an example. 99% of the cars that we make today are from abroad. And that is giving us deficit. The value of the naira to dollar ratio is 360 to 1. When we are given the opportunity by the Nigerians to serve, we will erase that where the dollar and the naira will be competing head to head in the world market. Because when you make things and sell things, then you get money. When you borrow money, all you're doing, you are paying interest. I saw yesterday on Vanguard that they published the deficit of Nigeria. It was going off the chart. It's been going like this. The generation of today are the leaders of tomorrow. I was once a youth. I was not lazy. I grew up as a houseboy. And then I was once a boss boy. That was then, but not now. But I was given the opportunity and the training to be able to become who I am. That is what we want to do with Nigerians. Almost 50 million of them are youth. Get your resume ready. This is not a playing game. There's a choice for us to make. We want our country back. We want a new Nigeria that is being transformed from point A to point Z. And then I want to call on Nigerians, both home and abroad. And then for you to just listen to this and then say, well, it doesn't concern me. It concerns you because in this generation, Nigerians were sold as slaves. None under this administration will Nigerians be sold as slaves. Nigerians were dying in Mediterranean Sea. Nigerians, 700 of them were killed by herdsmen, in Banoon or whatever that is. Not under our administration. We want to take this country back to law and order, to growth and prosperity, and to a country where we become a respected democratic country in the world. And we want to bring in solar energy, wind energy, infrastructure, air and sea. And then within 18 months, our current airports will need to be all changed to the modern system. I was in Jos Airport, and then the place where they gave me the ticket, there was no light. And then the lady had to go plug in one little generator. And then the G in the Gawon fell down. I was in Port Harcourt, the hard core of the oil industry. The airport was a laughable stock. You are in. One of the things we would do is human rights. You all becomes the fourth arm of the government where you can investigate everything that we do and report on them timely to the Nigerian people so they can follow what we're doing. There's no secrecy. There needs to be transparency in whatever we do. Vote buying and all these other things. I have asked myself, where are my journalists to expose all these things to the rest of the world and call condemnation to all of these things? Because that is what a democratic country should be doing. And that is what we intend to bring to this country. We are sick and tired. If you are better off than you were 4 years ago, then fine. Don't do anything. If you were better off than where you were 16 years ago, don't do anything. Because we have the same people circulating and just changing arms. And then the same warlord changing arms. When we have brilliant Nigerians that can transform this country, they prevent us from doing it. But it is time to take our country back. First of all, that is a non-negotiable item for us. because that's a part of the root of the corruption in the Nigerian system. Let me give you the statistics. Nigeria is rated probably maybe the second to the lowest, the most poorest nation in the world. But this is a country of vast amount of resources. A minimum wage, there will be no negotiation, but we can to go around the number. Minimum wage, you start at 300,000 naira. Now, if you say you are a senator, you don't want minimum wage, you stand up. Because the senators in Nigeria are paid more than senators all over the world. Do you hear what I just said? You can broadcast this to the world because I've done my research on this. But the average teachers have not been paid, some of them for 2 years. And then you want them to go to school and train our youth who are the leaders of tomorrow. And then when they say they cannot go, then you fire them? What kind of a job is that? Professors, some of them are not paying, they strike. And it takes average of 7 years for somebody to graduate in a curriculum that will take 4 years. That is the system we have now. Are you happy with that? Or you want a transformation of that system? If you want a transformation of that system, make that sacrifice. I'm begging you for this time around so that the nation can progress. If you sell your vote and somebody give you money for your vote, then you are not helping this country. That is between good and bad. We need to choose and make that choice. Because that is the situation. The minimum wage will start at 300. Now, we can negotiate. If the senator come and say, okay, I don't want to do 300,000 and I want to do 275, and then maybe we'll meet at 280. But to say there is no minimum wage is no. It will be minimum wage. And then if we cannot do it, we'll do it by executive order. That's as simple as it is. Until the Senate and we can all work together. I'm a team player. I believe in working with the senators. I believe in working with the legislators. I believe in bringing them. The election, we are calling this one as CDP, APT, NDCP, and all that. Nigerians don't care. The value of what is at stake for Nigeria is what is important. The political parties get us a way to be elected. But once you are elected, what is good for Nigeria becomes important. You cannot say because, NDCP was the one that elected me, all of the, positions need to be filled by NDCP. That is totally not going to be the case. We want to work in a coalition government. Anybody that has somebody that is qualified in Sokoto, somebody that is qualified in Bayelsa, Enugu, and then Ondo, bring your people to bear so that we can consider them. So we can transform this country. People have tried to divide us about religion. They have tried to use our language to divide us. They have tried to use our regionality to divide us. This is not a time for the religion and so forth. I'm proud to be an apostle to nations. But this is not about religion. This is about transforming and using the constitution of Nigeria to transform the Nigerian system. First of all, democracy, the way I read it, and the way I passed the grade, I was given a good grade when I read it, was made by the people, for the people, and for the progress of the people. If that is the case, all the three arms of the government, the judiciary, the legislators, and the executive, including the press, which is the fourth arm, the investigative arm of the government, has to be given a free platform. Number one, if I start with you that are press interviewing me, if you stand up for honesty and integrity, report the true story, no matter what it is, then you've done your job. That's what we ask for. But if you are biased, and then because somebody gave you 1 naira or gave you a bag of rice and begin to do all kinds of things, you have failed. So we want everyone to stand up to the fairness into the system. Number one, where there are no human rights, democracy cannot flourish. Human rights must be respected across the boardroom. And then the prison system must be reformed. And then re-engineer our work processes. All of the government agencies needs to be reformed and transformed. And then equity in restructuring, where the resources is coming from, needs to be done in an equitable manner. For example, if you were born in a place where there's oil and gold, and that is the heritage of your grandfather, and that's where God brought you out of. And then somebody was born in a place where there's groundnut oil, and then there is other things. Is it fair for all your oil and things to be drained to those places, and with you not getting good schools, not getting education, not getting hospitals? It is not fair. So there got to be fairness across the board. So human rights, affordable rights. And now you don't just speak this out, but you live by example. In my transformation blueprint that I wrote for Nigeria, I said, Nigeria, the progress of this country begins with me. There is enough blame to go around. I'm not here to blame our past leaders, our forefathers, and so forth. I'm here to talk to the Nigerian people about my vision and my progress. Because when you begin to talk about those problems, you can talk about it from here to Adam. But I want to talk about the results. What will I do to change the Nigerian system? I know what to do. From Bayelsa all the way to Sokoto, I want to show to the Nigerian people that we can have an 8-lane road where we can drive the goods and services up. I want to show to them we can have a high-speed rail where the journey today that takes 4 months, for even the businesses that doesn't have transportation can be able to ship their goods, from the north down to the south in less than 2 hours. I want to show to them that we can have international airport where investors will be glad to come do business in Nigeria. That's what I want to show to them. This is not a talking game. And then, if you don't want to believe it, check my record. I'm a man of my word. The reason for this, the soul of the Nigerian system is at stake. The soul of every Nigerian is at stake. I have been through the land. I have seen the suffering men and women in the land. And the power of honesty and integrity that God has put into me will not allow me to know that I can make a difference in my own land and not do it. And so be it. So manufacturing, okay? I am known as a guru of manufacturing. I know how to create work processes. I know how to make things. But that's not the things that I want to do here. To create an effective policy so that when you want to invest in manufacturing, you will be giving 15% tax structure so that you can bring your money to Nigeria. What investors are looking for is a friendly policy that will allow them, infrastructure that they will use, and an environment that is not corrupt that they can do with, and an illegal system that will give them fair justice in the day. We intend, number one, to create the infrastructure of roads and bridges and air and water that will do that. Solar energy, wind energy, all of this energy, nuclear energy for the purpose of electricity, not for fighting war, because nobody will win the war in nuclear energy. We can create a service sector that will create another 2 million jobs. We can create a healthcare system for all, single tax healthcare person, where the healthcare that the president gets is the same thing that every Nigerian gets, so that you can close the gap between the rich and the poor. Not that when anybody is sick, you take your plane, you fly to India, you fly to Saudi Arabia, you fly to London. That's it. It becomes a choice of whether or not you want to be happy with the current system, the way we have been run. If you're better off than you were 4 years ago or 16 years ago, stay with the system. But if you are not, sacrifice with us and let us make this progress together for a new Nigeria, transformed by Nigerians, and then progress for Nigerians and made by the people. Hear me out. Listen to this very carefully. The security of Nigeria and the security of any nation for that matter is number one priority for the president. Anywhere there is injustice, there will be justice. The orientation of the average Nigerians will be respect for the individual and respect for the rule of law. Period. Our military officers will be trained and given the tools to do the job. Today, they are not given the tools to do the job. Sometimes some of them are not paid well. The police officers are not paid well. That's why I advocate for minimum wage. You cannot eradicate corruption when the minimum wage is laughable. That's the honest truth. It's laughable. It's just laughable. So, therefore, you are an average Nigerian. You have a household. We will embark on community policing. We will embark on community neighborhood. Everyone that wants to violate the law will be put to justice. Time of the area girls, area boys, area police, area women and men is over. There will be justice, law, and order. Do not play with this young man. We know what to do. We will do it for Nigeria. Give us a chance. In terms of making sure that everything go across the board. The Nigerian federal police system, you ask yourself the question. If you are from, say, Sokoto, what do you know about the tribe in Bayelsa to be the commissioner there? Tell me. Do you know even the language they speak? Do you know even their heritage? One of the things we would do would be restructuring of the entire police system to become effective, where the people are now being led by the police and they have a voice on who lead them. That's something we will do, and we'll do it very quickly. This is our time to take our country back. Vote for the most qualified person that you believe can get the job done. That's it. That's what you need to do. Entrepreneurship. Not only would you give them the seed capital to start a business, but you need to mentor them. You need to open up markets so that they can export their product and be successful. You need to create an innovative process where those innovative processes will empower them. You need to connect them to a research center where new ideas are born and get. And that is why the youth are very important to me, because the youth are the power of entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship is so important to me. Also, the film industry, the culture. Nigeria has a very rich culture. All of these things have to be developed and cannot be pushed aside. But it has to be done in a fairly democratic system where the institution of government needs to be strengthened. And today the government is broken. Whether you want to admit it or not, that is the honest truth. The institution of government is not working for us. We need to strengthen it, and so that it can serve the people well. The Nigerian economy can be the #1 in Africa. It is a complex economy that requires the knowledge of economics and requires the knowledge of the transaction system to run. You cannot say, I'm going to run Nigerian economy, and you don't even know how to spell your name. It cannot work that way. That's the honest truth. First of all, if we are to arrest all Nigerians that are corrupt, no one of you here will be sitting here. There will not be, and the jail will be full. All Nigerians that are corrupt. You follow me? That's not how to fight corruption. To fight corruption, you must do the following. The institution of government must be strengthened. You got to re-engineer all those work processes.